All right, guys, what's going on? So, the long-awaited update for my Turbo YZ. As you guys can see, I got some parts, some pretty major pieces, just rode through. So I got this stuff a little bit ago. So you guys can see, I actually just got my stuff back from Crankworks. You can see this is the new piston right here, like I showed in the last video, or the last update video. This is a 102 millimeter bore setup now, and yeah, this is a Carrillo piston this time around. Previously I ran a JE piston, and I actually found something pretty interesting on this particular piston, and I think that it might explain the wear that I had in this small end of the rod. But anyways, yeah, this is the new Carrillo piston. Like I said, I am bumping the compression slightly higher, and I know a lot of people are probably shaking their head at me right now. But like I said, I don't build to wives' tales about what people, think isn't doable as far as compression and stuff. Because at the end of the day, good fuel is key, and that's what I run in my bike, good fuel. But you can see right here, this is actually based off of stock YZ450F dimensions, 2021 or 20 to 22. So theoretically, that'll put me right at 14.3 to 1. It might be slightly less than that, because I am doing a custom copper head gasket and top fuel hoop setup this time around. So I'll actually have an actual top fuel hoop in my motor this time around for cylinder head sealing. Prior to this, I had an O-ring. So you can see the O-ring right here. This is pretty much the same concept, but the O-ring does have a slight break in it. See if I can find it right here. So it does have like one little, I'm not sure if the camera is picking that up, but there's a slight little gap in there. And to be honest, I didn't really have any problems with this on this last setup, but the goal is to bulletproof everything, and the top fuel hoop is definitely superior, as well as a copper head gasket, because it kind of acts as like a fusible link if something does go wrong. But but yeah, I'm on my new jug. I might actually have to have it slightly machined on the bottom end of it, because since I am running methanol this time around, generally with methanol you want a little bit more quench distance between the actual quench pad on the head and the top of the piston, because you are physically injecting more fuel into the engine. And if worst case scenario, you could end up in a hydrolock situation because of the sheer amount of fuel that is in the chamber. So it's a good rule of thumb to open up that quench distance a little bit. And by removing material on the bottom of the jug, it's essentially widening that quench distance. So that's just the general thought on that. So I did get this gasket from Flat Out Gaskets in I believe Illinois. Pretty quick turnaround time. Only thing that I had to do is to send them the Athena 102 millimeter gasket that I got with the kit that I ordered from AZ Quad Parts, and then they basically mimicked everything. And then what's even better about these gaskets is that because generally with a copper gasket on a water jacketed setup, you typically have to run some type of sealant on the gasket, so that way it doesn't leak out the side of the cylinder head and jug. So and generally that type of sealant will either be some type of RTV, high temp RTV, or like something like Honda Bond or copper spray. On these gaskets, you don't have to do that, because they come with a silicone. They come with silicone like embedded in this actual copper surface. So you have to do like 2 heat torque cycles, and then they pretty much just seal up. So that is pretty badass. So it makes it a lot easier. But you can see I got the crank in. So that's all good now. I got it balanced for the new piston. You can see right there the pin is actually stitch welded on each side, so that thing doesn't rotate and move or walk. I did get a new Crankworks rod installed on this crank assembly, and the reasoning for that is because actually when I sent this crank in to Crankworks, they actually found that the bottom end, or I'm sorry, the large end of the rod was actually slightly out of spec. And seeing as I want to push for more power this time around, you know, it was recommended to me that that would probably be a good move to just put a new rod on it. And I don't know if I could really, you know, attribute that to just, you know, the sheer power that I was making with the setup, because I will be honest, early on when I first got this bike running, I bumped my head a lot with tuning. But luckily I got a pretty good tuner involved. Shout out to R2 Hanala. Guy definitely knows his stuff, and yeah, he's the reason why I'm making the power I am on the bike. So I've learned a lot from him, learned some neat tuning tricks. But yeah, I want to push the envelope even further now. So you know, I just wanted to play it safe, get that new rod installed, and try to make this bottom end as bulletproof as possible. So this is actually the assembly, the piston and rod assembly that came out of the old motor. So you can see it's not much damage. I mean, it's an area on the skirt that's kind of questionable, but you know, I don't know exactly what caused that. But let me get this pin out, and then I will recap on the main issue that I saw when I did the most recent teardown before I sent the stuff out to get rebuilt. All right, guys, so the main area of concern to me with this last setup is the amount of wear that I had on, let me see if I can focus a little bit, sorry. The amount of wear that I had on this small end bushing, and this is actually like a pressed in bronze bushing, so that is troubling right there. But after talking to a friend the other day, and I don't know how I did not notice this, and to be honest, I did inspect this piston out because I had a good friend of mine down in Georgia actually put this engine together for me. Helped me out with a bunch of stuff parts wise and machining. But you can see on this JE piston, it doesn't have any pin oiling, which is a big no-no in a high application, or a high power application. So this pretty much just depends on, I'm guessing, splash oiling to get, you know, lubrication to the pin. Push the pin out a little bit more, but you can kind of see it's no oil holes in there for any type of oiling on the pin, because generally you'd have lateral holes right here in this bottom ring groove, and basically when the oil ring scrapes oil off of the cylinder wall, that oil is then diverted into this pin bore right here, so you get, like, you know, priority oiling on that. So that's one main difference that I see with the Carrillo piston and the JE piston. So let me pull this back out and I can show you. So you see those two oil holes right there. It's one at like 11 o'clock and one at 2 o'clock. That is much more ideal, especially for this type of build. You want as much oiling as you can get, or as much oiling as you can properly control, I guess you could say, because too much oil isn't the best thing either. But yeah, so definitely a step in the right direction. I'm actually getting ready to send this stuff out to, or drop it off at Line to Line Coatings. You can see right here, this is what I'm talking about. So Line to Line is actually local to me. They make a really nice skirt coating. And basically why it's so good is because this coating is actually porous in nature. So typically what guys get done, and like what I'm getting done today, is the skirt coating. So it's an ultra slick coating. It's like a matte black finish, but under a microscope, that coating actually has you know, it looks porous. And basically the design intent behind that is actually because those little small porous holes, they actually hold oil. So you know, that's pretty ideal for this type of setup, or for, you know, any type of rotational part, especially like a piston. But yeah, it's not expensive. It's cheap insurance, and I actually wanted to do it on my last setup, but the engine was already together. So I'm gonna get it taken care of now. And yeah, I'm gonna go actually drop this off now, and hopefully, you know, try to minimize downtime, because, you know, the holidays are coming upon us. So I just want to get a jump on everything. But yeah, so let me get this package up, and then I'm gonna get it out there, and yeah, go from there. All right, guys, so I'm just now leaving line to line. Just dropped the piston off to him. I actually thought that I was recording the whole time I was in there, but I don't know, some fluke crap happened with my phone. But yeah, so hopefully we shot that back soon. And then I'm gonna actually check on the cylinder head probably Monday, and try to get an update on that. But I'm not too far from having this thing back together. So yeah, just go from there, and you know, try to get it back together, and get to making some power again. Yeah, so something else that I'm also looking at, and I actually found these guys at PRI. I just went this past weekend with a friend of mine. But this company, Worldwide Bearings, they actually specialize in ceramic bearings. So one of the guys that was at the booth, he actually runs them in a nitro bike. So it's something I'm definitely thinking about. It is definitely a lot more than I want to spend. But they do make a kit for the YZ, or for this year, the YZ. I want to say the kit is like, it's like $800. So it's definitely not chump change. But this is like one of the last parts that I need for the bottom end. I'm actually just waiting on the transmission to come in from Cryo Heat, because they're actually sending them out to or they contracting some work out to another company to actually back cut my gears. But they already finished cryo forging them and polishing them, so that's all done. And yeah, just basically just getting back cut. So I guess in the meantime, what I will do, because something that I also noticed on my YZ is, let me see if I can get this on video, but it looks like my front wheel bearing is pretty, you hear that? That's like some lateral movement, or some side to side movement coming from the front tire. So that's probably from all the wheelies and stuff. I mean, I have had these wheels for like 3 years. Haven't had an issue out of them, but they do make ceramic wheel bearings too. And that's actually what one of the guys from the company was telling me, because like he knew that, you know, the entire engine bearing kit, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow price wise. So he actually recommended me to swap my wheel bearings out with the ceramic bearings, because I told him those needed to be changed anyway. And he told me to just install those and then give the wheel a spin, and that'll give me a good idea of what to expect for the engine as well, you know, just to make me a believer on their ceramic bearings. So definitely doing that first, because, you know, those have to be changed out. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's rolling on the YZ right now. I have been making a ton of progress in the background. So yeah, early on when I was actually planning this engine build, you know, it was, you know, kind of my my plan to stick, you know, with the same turbo and everything, do some back-to-back testing, and that is still kind of the direction that I'm going with this build. But I gotta say, after going to PRI this week and looking at a lot of the turbo manufacturers and whatnot that were there, it definitely has my my eyes open to other options. So, you know, I'm not going to make any impulse decisions yet, but maybe I might be going with a new turbo. I don't know. I gotta make a few phone calls, find out a little bit more information, and double check the fitment on a few things before I make that decision. The turbo could possibly end back up in this area right here. I mean, I won't speak too soon, but yes, possibility. So yeah, definitely keep watching out, because I got a lot of stuff rolling on this soon. This should be back on the ground running soon. And then obviously my Grom right here, I actually the swing arm for this today. You can see the engine right there for the Grom. That's the Panigale 1199. And yeah, guys, just keep watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It definitely helps me when you do that to get more exposure on this stuff. But yeah, until then, keep riding, ride safe, and yeah, peace.